So, what if the key to wealth wasn't actually in your bank account, but in your energy field? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating idea that you can literally train your aura to attract wealth.
You know the drill, right? We're all taught the exact same formula. Just work harder, save more, find a better strategy. But what if creating wealth isn't really about math and hustle? The source material we're digging into today offers a pretty radical alternative, and its answer is a resounding no.
It basically lays out two completely different paths. On one side, you've got the familiar grind sweat, strategy, timing. It's wealth as a product of pure effort. But on the other side, well, that's a whole different game. It suggests wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you attract through alignment, vibration, and energy. And that brings us right to our first big idea, the real secret to wealth.
And, it all hinges on this huge shift in perspective. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are.
Here's the core of it all, right here in one sentence. You do not attract what you chase, you attract what you are. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. It's basically saying that the frantic pursuit of money, the chasing, it's actually counterproductive. The real work is about becoming a magnet for it. So, how does that actually work? How do you just become a magnet? Well, according to this, it all comes down to your aura, the silent negotiator. This is the unconscious energy that you're broadcasting out into the world every single moment. And let's be super clear, we're not talking about some mystical, magical halo here. The source defines your aura as your emotional default. It's that unconscious energy you're constantly broadcasting. It's the vibe that enters a room before you even say a word, and it's silently negotiating on your behalf. But here's the kicker. Your aura can't lie. You can repeat affirmations until you're blue in the face, but if your deep-seated beliefs are all about lack or that you're not worthy, that is the real signal you're sending out. And that signal, well, that signal creates your financial ceiling. You see, this gap between what we say we want and what we actually feel deep down, that creates a massive problem. And it's why we have to talk about rewiring your inner state, because this is exactly where we see why just thinking positive so often falls flat. This shows you why perfectly. You can spend all day trying to project one thing with your words, saying, I am wealthy. But if what you're really vibrating, what your nervous system is screaming is fear, doubt, and scarcity, then you're sending out a totally mixed, confused signal. And this brings us to an absolutely crucial point. The universe reads the real signal. Not your words, not your dreams, your energy. It's not responding to your wish list, it's just matching your baseline emotional state, your vibe. Okay, so if our inner state is the real driver here, the big question is, how in the world do we actually change it? This is where we get super practical with your daily aura training. Actual steps to consciously raise that baseline vibration. The source lays out 3 daily rituals for what it calls emotional calibration. First up is an emotional audit, which is really just checking in to see if your feelings are actually aligned with your goals. Second, an alignment affirmation to literally rewire your nervous system to feel safe having success. And finally, visualization, so you can practice embodying your future self right now, today. But all of those daily rituals can be completely undone by one thing, your environment. Seriously, think of your environment as an amplifier. The people you talk to, the stuff you watch and read, the spaces you hang out in, they're all either strengthening your new wealthy signal or they're drowning it out completely. So when you combine that inner work with a supportive environment, you start moving toward the ultimate goal, becoming an energetic magnet. You start to truly embody the frequency of wealth. So what does this wealthy aura actually feel like? The source gives us 4 key elements to work on. First, certainty. That's moving with intention, not desperation. Second is calm, an inner stillness that attracts opportunities instead of begging for them. Third is congruence, where your thoughts, words, and your actions are all singing the same song. And finally, contribution, a focus on giving value, on serving others. And this leads to such a profound insight. Confidence doesn't come from evidence. You don't wait for the proof to feel worthy of wealth. Confidence actually comes from a decision. The moment you decide you're ready, that you're enough right now, that's when you plant the seed for aura mastery. And this final quote just wraps up the entire philosophy perfectly. The universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are in harmony with. You see, it was never really about doing more. It was always about becoming more.
So we'll end with this one final thought for you to chew on. Your aura is like a silent billboard, broadcasting a signal 24/7. So the question is, right now, in this very moment, what is yours saying?